Hello everyone. I figure I'd make a video. Despite my ones that I usually do for my cards. So like this is my spot. I'm coming from my house. And so there's a couple things I want to one thing I reiterated a couple weeks ago. That's still happening and still in the talk about phase, and still making big news in the card collecting community and stuff like that, and have been proven by many other streamers like Teapot and stuff. So I'm gonna go back to that topic I talked about a couple weeks ago, and that's the Encapsulation company, or the company that's grading your cards, is the ones that are putting them in slabs. Are you paying for the money, or are you paying for the card, the value of the card, or the value of the company that is slabbing your card? And should it really make a difference? So that's the first thing I'm going to talk about. We'll go back to that subject, because that subject hasn't really died off, and I might feel like I want to expand a little bit. I feel like I might want to expand a little bit on that topic. I might repeat things like I said in my prior video, but it is what it is. The second subject I like to talk about is what I've been seeing a lot of videos about, at least the past week and a half or so on YouTube, about people talking about WhatNot, what's been happening on WhatNot with some of these breakers, and the integrity of these breakers, and how messed up it is, and how they crash out, how they flip out on certain things. As you see, so I want to talk about that and my personal opinions on that, and what I think of the whole issue. But I'm gonna note, it's spring training. It has been spring training for a couple weeks. So, as you all know, my favorite team's the Red Sox, and they've been going out there. They've been, I think they've been doing pretty good. I haven't got a chance to watch a lot of their games because it's just been work and everything the past couple of weeks, but I'm trying to get to watching them again. And in about a month and a half, I'm gonna have my local team, Tri-City Valley Cats, gonna be starting up around May. Beginning first week in May. They're a high level independent league with the Frontier League, so I gotta represent them. Baseball starting, gotta represent. And they're from where I grew up, which is Troy, New York. So just starting off with the spring season was on a good note, because football's done and Unrival's done, and WNBA might be starting up in about 2 months, so there's a lot happening. But to get started with what I want to talk about, again, I'm going to start off with the capitalize the slabbing of cards, and reiterate my opinion on this. And I know my opinion it's just my opinion. It's the hobby is big. There's a lot of people in the hobby, so everybody has their own opinion, and opinions are okay. I'm just seeing what I'm seeing and what I'm noticing, and where I see trends tend to be going, and I may be wrong, and I know there's people out there who will prove me wrong, and or at least try to prove me wrong, and they prove me wrong. But I'm just gonna talk about what I think and what I've seen and what I've been hearing and all that. So, my opinion about what's happening with the slabbing companies, PSA, Collectors Habits, PSA, SGC, Beckett, to me, it's all the same company, no matter which one you go through. Of those three, PSA, SGC, or Beckett, it's all collectors. You're going to get the same amount of customer service. There's no separation of them. As much as they say they like to be a separation, there isn't. There isn't. You got PSA that does everything. You got from trading cards from the game cards to sports clubs to non-sports cards. You got SGC, who's predominantly vintage, but they do modern cards also. And then you got Beckett, who does pretty much vintage and modern cards, who's slowly gotten into some TCG cards, but predominantly base sports cards. So, to start off with, my opinion is, out of those three, it really honestly doesn't matter which one you pick of those, because you're going through the same company anyway. You know, your cards that you send to SGC are going to be seen by PSA graders. Your PSA sent are going to be seen by SGC. They're all going to be signed by the same type of graders, because when it comes down to reality of it, the graders are all PSA SGC certified, or now Beckett certified too. So that it's really not going to matter what grader you have. You're not going to have an SGC grader. You're not going to have a PSA grader. You're not going to have a Beckett grader. They're all one graders. Your cards will go in, get looked at by a grader, encapsulated, and shipped back out to you. The thing is, it's changing for the most part, and collectors is trying to keep it make them appear to be separate. Is the pricing? I think, especially PSA. Yes, PSA is the higher return value in the hobby as far as retail. If like you go to sell your cards, you're going to get a higher premium because they're in a PSA slab compared to an SGC or a Beckett, which in my opinion, I'm going to tell you right now, is BS. Because at that point, and you all know it, you're paying for the company. You're not paying the value of the card, you're paying the value of the company, and you're just reinvesting in the company. And it's been proven many times. People like Teapot have taken cards, the same exact cards, and shipped them to SGC, shipped them to PSA, shipped them to Beckett, shipped them to TCG, CGC, and it's proved that, like, you're paying for the name. Because there's no way a PSA 10 is going to get the same value, the same card. If you had that same card in a PSA 10 and had that same card in SGC 9, the card could be worth $4,000 in the PSA and only worth $400 in the SGC. Same exact card. So theoretically, you're only paying for the slabbing company. That's not the value of the card. I hope that makes sense. Like, you're not paying for the card. You're paying the price. You're paying the company. And that shouldn't be, as a collector myself, to be that's wrong. That doesn't make sense, because to me, I always thought SGC slabs were a lot better than PSA. My own personal opinion. But you're paying someone who's like, I mean, I can understand their things were made out of gold, but their cases are plastic, just like SGCs and CGCs and TG, whatever the other ones are. It's plastic. It shouldn't. Your price of your card should not be reflected on what case it's in. It should be valued on the rarity, the accessibility, population count of, in general, and among all grading companies, how rare is that card? Not just PSA popularity or population rarity, not just SGC popularity or population. It should be all. The value of that card should be all the grading. Ideally, should be all the grading companies combined population report, and that will show the true rarity of the card and the true demand people want for that card. Because today people are just like, I want a certain card and a PSA. They're like I said, they're going more after the slab. People paying for more for the slab than they are for the card. The card could be a 10-cent card, but they're paying hundreds of dollars because it's in a PSA slab. But the card's worth nothing. You know. So I think the mentality of the collector, of the hobbyist, and even the people who are flipping cards, sports cards and non-sports cards, and all these slabs, even people who are flipping these slabs, their mentality needs to change and wake up and realize that it's not about the price of the slab. Is not the company that encapsulates it. It's a population report. It's a rarity, and it's the demand for the card. Those two things should make up the price, the price of those cards, not the encapsulated company. Because me personally, I could care what less company that it's encapsulated in. So that's what we think we need. On my first part, we need to stop. Again, we need to stop basing card prices, turning around value, worth on the encapsulation company, and more on the value of the card. And there's a few of us who are in the hobby that are actually starting to see that. Collectors are starting to take back the reins from the graders. Because there's even there's people that have been collecting and they're going to stay raw for a while. There's people that are going to wait out, see what happens. And see what happens, and they're saying they're keeping their cards raw because they want to see what happens with collectors and all these. And if you look at the numbers, like I've been looking at some of these numbers, and yeah, PSA is still up there, and SGC is down here. You got CGC right under PSA, and then Beckett, and then you're seeing them month to month. And yes, PSA may have the highest submissions and the highest grading right now, but if you look at their overall, watch their submissions for the month, if it's up or down, and watch the year to year, if it's going up and down, because those are the two numbers you're going to want to pay attention and see how things are changing and how the tides are changing. And it's changing. People are waking up. Like, people expect if you're going to pay more per card, you're going to want your card back sooner. If I'm personally paying $25 per card, I don't want to wait 8 months to a year for my cards to return. That's BS. I want my cards back as soon as possible. And SGC slowly has gotten that way to where they're getting 3-4 months out. It used to be like 2 months. It used to be a month, 2 months. Now it's 3-4 months out. And when it started getting 3 months out, I was like, something's, I got to change. I got to look for another company. And they weren't, a lot of their things, their customer service went just like PSA's. Crappy. Excuse my language, but crappy. I never graded with PSA, but with all the things I've heard, I will never grade with PSA. And I don't think I'll ever grade with SGC and Beckett. I might buy some of their stuff, but I don't think I'll ever. I might buy some of their stuff out in the marketplace if the price is right, but I'm not going to submit to them. Like I said, you're going to send your cards to PSA for $25 a card. You got to wait 8 to 10 months. 8 months to a year to get your card back. For one, you should have got your card back sooner, because there's companies out there that you pay less and you're getting it back sooner. If they believe your card is going to be worth over a certain amount with their name on it, they upcharge you, which people say that's been happening all the time, but I never noticed that with some company, like when SGC was their own. I never noticed that. They say that was in their things, but I never noticed that. So if you set a card of a 101 and you send a card and get graded and they give it a 10, they're going to upcharge you $2,000 because they think the card's going to be worth $3 or whatever. They're going to upcharge you and take that out of your money. They're like, whoa. No. That's BS. I'm paying you just to grade my card. I'm not paying you for taking more money out. My card is worth that. Because when it comes down to it, if I go sell that card, I want that minimum back. You know, if you say my card's worth $3,000, all right, and you upcharging, you take $2,000, $2,500 out of my bank account because of the upcharge, and then say 2 years later I decide to go sell that card, I better get at least $2,500 for that card. If not, if I get $1,000, I just lost all the money you, excuse my language, motherfuckers just took from me 2 years prior because you believed at that time that card is going to be worth more. So I just lost money because you guys just took it from me. You see what I'm saying? You're like, just because you feel that card at that time is a $3,000 card at that time, I'm not selling. Me as the person who owns that card, I'm not selling it. So why are you going to upcharge me for what the market value is? Let me make the decision of my own price of my own card. Let me sell for what I think it is. And who's to say that 2 years from now, that card's going to go up more in value. It may come down in value, and then I'm going to lose money if I'm going to sell it. Would I need to get rid of it? You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. Because now that $3,000 card, I just paid for it to get graded by PSA or SGC or collectors or whoever is collector. I'm going to say collectors, fanatics, collectors. You charge me $3,000 for my card to get graded. Here's 2 years later, and I'm selling it for $1,500. I just lost $1,500 because you believe my card was a $3,000 card. No, so what are you gonna do? Are you gonna pay me back that $1,500 that I got when I got it graded 2 years ago? Because you guaranteed me my card was gonna be that. It's like you're like almost guaranteeing me my card is gonna be worth that much. It makes no sense. So collectors needs to get rid of the upcharge because you are going to lose a lot of people. People don't realize that that's going to hurt the collectors in the long run. The people who are submitting these cards, and they're getting paid upcharges, they don't realize that it could hurt them in the future. It really could. And collectors and PSA is pretty much stealing your money with these upgrades, these upcharges. They are stealing your money. Instead of doing what they are meant to do, which was to grade your cards, they are predicting your cards to be worth money when you're worth more money, so they're going to charge you for more than that, and that's BS. So in reality, because your card can come down in value, in reality, they're stealing your money. They are thieving you. So collectors, hobbyists, they need to wake up and understand that that's what PSA is doing. In the long run, they are making people poor by stealing their money. It said $25, and again, you're waiting 8 months to a year for your cards back. That's usually when you pay more, you should get a more speedier return. It should take more, shouldn't equal longer. More should equal shorter. Because you're pretty much paying to try to get ahead of the line. So collectors, PSA, be it SGC, Beckett, y'all screwed up. You're screwing up, man. You're gonna lose to people. You're gonna lose people, and that's whatever. To your own devices. Me personally, like I said, I'm never gonna go to them. I backed out of going to SGC. Like I said, I'll buy cards from them if they're already within my price range, but to submit to them, I won't do. I found a new grading company. So the new grading company I'm trying is degree grading. And so far, even though I haven't got my first submission back, and that I sent that out January 14th, it's in its last stages, and I should be getting them back soon. So I got 4 submissions out with them. So and I like their promotional aspect. So they're like old SGC. So see how they go with them with my grading. But I'm not trying to promote them. I'm just saying I'm trying degree out. And like I said, the value of the card should not be worth on who's encapsulating. It should be the value of what the population out there and the rarity of the grade. That it doesn't matter who encapsulated. A 10 is a 10 is a 10. Whatever people think. It's an opinion. The grades are opinion. Just because it's a PSA 10 does not make it worth more than an SGC or Beckett's or degree. Do you feel the card's a 10? It's all opinions. And it should be based on, like I said, rarity, demand, and population of grading. How many of those have actually been graded throughout all the grading companies that there is out there. That's how much a card should be worth its value, not who grades it. So that's my first little spiel. I hope that made sense, and we'll see what happens. We can continue to watch what happens with this grading company. Like I said, I had to reiterate my opinion because it's still a big talk about, a big subject in the card grading community still. The second one I want to talk about is, it's been like in the past week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, is WhatNot. What's been happening on WhatNot. And I've seen a couple of videos about it. Teapot has already talked about it on Sports Card Investor, and there's been a couple of other, people have talked about it. The Boston Collector, I think his name is, he's talked about it. And it's what's happening on WhatNot. And what's happening on WhatNot, I mean, I personally haven't seen it on WhatNot yet, but the clips they're showing, it's kind of messed up. So you got these sellers on WhatNot. They're putting up one-of-ones, one-of-one autographs, this and that, and they say they compound a certain amount. Say there was this one I saw about $1,400. They put it up on a $1 bid. They put it up for $1 bid auction, and it was a one-of-one autograph. And they got up to $700, and they got pissy. It closed at $700, and the guy got all pissy and took the card out of the case and started bending it, saying that it was BS. It's $1,400, and you know what? I can't believe I just sold it. It's sold for way under than it's worth. And he went crazy and started tearing it up. And that, person just spent $700 on that card, one-of-one. See, me personally, I'd be writing to WhatNot saying, "Yo, WTF?" If that person hasn't already did it. And 2, I want my money back, because that person just took $700 from me, and then on camera ripped up the card I just bought. Like, yo. So I hope that person went to WhatNot and got that person kicked off of WhatNot. Bro, it was your fault. If you believed it was a $1,400 card, you should have never sold it for $1, put it up for $1 auction, hoping that your card's gonna go up to $1,400, and then begging people. Like, that's the one biggest thing. But on WhatNot I know is people are begging. come on, it's worth more than that. Come on, come on, come on. It's way worth more than that. And they're selling a $20 car for $200, which, you know, whatever. It's the buyer. It's usually the buyer's fault at that part. If they feel they want to pay $200 for a $10 car, that's fine. But the part that mostly pisses me off is like what I've been seeing the past week and a half, 2 weeks is, and this has come to light with WhatNot, and I'm sure WhatNot knows about it, and I haven't seen anything, there hasn't, to my knowledge, been put out what has been done about it. We're just seeing videos of people, like I said, buy the $1,400, what the seller thinks is a $1,400 car, the 101 auto, and they put it up on the dollar auction, and it only goes up to $700, and then they get pissed off because they sold on their auction half price, pretty much, and they take it out on camera, take it out of the case, and rip it and tear it and bend it and say, F this, that, WhatNot. What are you going to do about that? I mean, it hasn't happened to me yet. Like I said, I've only seen these videos. I think that person should be, 1, kicked off for WhatNot, 2, blacklisted for anything that might come look that way. Because, it's like someone buying a second-hand car and, like, I don't know, it's wrong. Like, you just tore up something that they just spent $700 on. It's like someone spending $160 on a jersey, and then that cashier just rips the jersey into shreds right in front of them. Like, bro, I just spent freaking money on it, and now you just wrecked it in front of my face? No, see, that don't play games. That WhatNot seller, I don't know what happened to him, or those few WhatNot sellers, I don't know what happened to them, but they should be blacklisted. They should give all the money back to that person that spent that money on that card, which hopefully they did. And I wouldn't trust WhatNot after that again, after that happened to me. I'm already sketchy about WhatNot for some things. So, I'm sure some of y'all probably feel the same way I do about that. But I had to get those off. Those have been on my mind the past couple of days, and I just felt like, I should make a video about this, because, some people are starting to make videos about it, and I want to try to get my opinion on some things. So, again, thank you for listening to my rambling. I know it's what it is. It's just me rambling. And we got baseball's back. Alright. So, until next time, I know you guys got 2 videos this week, which is whatever. Just had to get this off my mind while I can. Alright. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.